Good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to have all of you on this afternoon. Those who are listening on radio via WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio. We've got 100.5 FM out of Labby in Grenville. We have Rampoon Radio out of Delaware in the United States, and lots of other outfits picks up the Heartbeat on a Sunday afternoon. Also, a warm welcome to those listening on the NDC Facebook online platform and also on YouTube. A very great Sunday afternoon to all of you. Thank you for joining the Heartbeat for another Sunday. What we're going to be doing today, we'll be chatting with Miss Jennifer Lake. She is out of the UK, Grenadian. She is an inventor, creator, and she has done lots of things out in the UK, and she'll be visiting for Diaspora Homecoming in June 21st through to the 5th of July. So we'll be chatting extensively with her. And thereafter, we'll be chatting with Miss Andrea Sembernard. She is she'll be talking about Project Polaris. She is the project sponsor, and she'll be telling us all about Project Polaris and its launch come Friday, the 27th at 4 p.m. So make sure you tune in for this interview with Andrea. So what we'll do, we'll just take a very short break, and we'll come right back to you. So see you in a moment.
I'm here at the project site for Project Polaris. This is the old Calavini estate, purchased by the government of Grenada for our new hospital and medical city construction. There's a lot of activity happening as we get ready for the groundbreaking ceremony happening on the 27th of March. That's a Friday, and it'll begin promptly at 4 p.m. We're inviting everyone to come out and participate in this historic event for Grenada. Be here at 3:30 to get a good position. We'll start promptly at 4.
On Saturday, May 16th, Brooklyn will come alive with live acoustic performances from some of Grenada's top local acts, setting the stage for an evening that celebrates culture, cuisine, and community. Set in an atmosphere of refined elegance, guests will enjoy a curated Caribbean culinary experience. The evening will also feature a special keynote address by the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada. This premier fundraising affair promises an unforgettable experience where flavor, music, and purpose come together for a truly meaningful evening. Tickets are available now on GoToFate and Eventbrite. Secure yours early and be part of an extraordinary night. Spice Indulgence, an evening of heritage, connection, and impact.
Do you live or own a business in Calavini, Marianne, Hopevale, Westerhall, or surrounding communities? The Government of Grenada invites you to a town hall meeting this Wednesday focused on Grenada's healthcare transformation and Project Polaris. Hear directly from the project team, ask questions, and gain a better understanding of the new hospital development in your community. The town hall meeting is on Wednesday, March 18th, 6 p.m. at the Westerhall 2nd.
Grenada is moving forward, and the young people like you are at the heart of it. The National Democratic Youth Movement is all about connecting, learning, and making real impact. This is your chance to be a part of something bigger, to grow, to lead, and shape the future while making a difference. If you are ready to step up, have your voice heard, and help build a better Grenada, then the National Democratic Youth Movement is the organization for you. Join us because you are the future.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast for another beautiful Sunday afternoon in Grenada. On the set with me is Miss Jennifer Lake. She is from the UK. Well, she lives in the UK, but Grenadian, 100%. So welcome to the Heartbeat, Miss Lake. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Great, wonderful. Well, first of all, let the Grenadian people know, for those who don't know you, who is Jennifer Lake, and what has caused you to be a renowned inventor, innovator, mentor? and what does all that mean?
Well, I've actually created a product that originally was for babies to create a double pushchair, because often parents have two children close in age, and to buy two separate pushchairs just is a lot of expense. So I created a product called Bug Grip that connects two pushchairs of different makes and models together. And inadvertently creating that, I created a multi-tool that fits almost any product, whether it be a wheelchair, whether it be a scooter, or whether it be a walking frame. So now it's not only become a baby product, it's now a multi-tool that can be used anywhere. Therefore, I have like 15 different markets in order to sell this particular product. What I do is I find gaps in the market and I create products that will help parents and just caregivers to give them an extra bit of help when they're out and about or in daily life.
Yeah.
And that's been my quest, just to be able to give people that extra piece of extra helping hand in their daily life as they go about their day.
Yep, this is really wonderful indeed. And what sort of recognition have you gotten for this creation?
Right, so I've been recognised by the by Sparks Innovation in the UK. That's the governing body for innovation. I'm a disabled entrepreneur as well, so I've been recognised by Sir Stelios of the Stelios Airlines. I've won Baby Awards, Diversity Awards. I go to universities, I teach, I mentor, I lecture, teach startups how to start a business the right way. And if they have a product that they want to basically sell on to somebody, the process where you actually have to send somebody an NDA before, which is a non-disclosure agreement, before you give away all your rights to somebody just because you want that product to come out into the market.
Mm. Wow, and how come Grenada did not hear about you before?
Well, we're stuck here in the UK. My work has been going on for quite some time, since my children are quite small. So it's only as of the last couple of years that my products have really flourished, that are coming to fruition. My Bug Grip is out by the end of this year, and there are about 15 other products that will follow after that. So within that time of me actually creating one product, then another idea pops up. So then I patent that product, and then I patent the next one and the next one, but I can't talk about them until I patented them. Mm-hmm. And you give away all the information and you lose the rights.
Yep.
So you have to keep everything quite secret.
Yeah, definitely so indeed. So let me first of all say to the Grenadian public and our listening audience throughout the world that I'm extremely delighted that you have agreed to visit Grenada during the period of 21st June to 5th July, which is when we will be hosting a Diaspora Homecoming, a landmark decision taken by the government of Grenada to host diaspora citizens and friends of Grenada to be in Grenada during that period to reconnect, celebrate, and continue to enjoy the food, the culture, and give back to Grenada in one way or the other. And you have agreed to be a presenter, mentor in our youth forum. What kind of information do you think would be necessary for youth, young persons to feel encouraged basically to get into your sphere of innovation and life?
Innovation, everybody thinks is difficult. It's about problem solving. If there's a particular issue that you see that it needs a solution for, and you find a simple solution for that, some people think, oh, they'll write up and say, oh no, that's just silly. But that one solution, only one little product, can generate finances for you, and you can patent that particular product, which means you put it onto the patent agencies and you pay for a patent so that you can actually produce that product, and it could financially benefit you and your family and the country. The fact it's a product that can be sold worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So you actually lecture at schools and universities in the UK, explaining to youngsters, I would imagine predominantly, as to how they can go about creating innovations, and you mentor them in that field.
Yeah, I understand. I get them, first of all, there's a business plan. They have to write a business plan. It could be just something very, very basic. I help them with that. And then from the business plan, they get the idea of funding, what kind of funding that they can actually get for creating that particular product. I also go through how to not only fund the product, but take the product to the next level, whether it needs a prototype, but also when you start speaking to other companies, that you have to make sure that you send them, you protect your product by sending them a non-disclosure agreement, so that they know that if they speak to you, they can't tell anybody else. And that's one of the most important things. So if somebody came to me, you person said, I've got a really great product, Jennifer, you now want to take it out there and you want to tell me what else, I'll say, stop. The first thing you do, send me an NDA so that I can't talk to anybody else about it. So it's the conversation between you and I, and that's it. And then if you want to take it further, then we can speak beyond that. But otherwise, you basically hold me to not disclose that information until you've decided that it's ready for me to disclose. And that's the most important thing about that.
Right, okay. And what kind of questions would you normally get when you do such lectures coming from students?
Basically, it's about starting businesses, because that's what's mainly it's about. If you start your own business, how long does it take? How much money is involved? Is my product any good? And it's normally, they say, you make 3, if it's a particular product that has various parts to it, then they ask you how many prototypes should I make. Normally, the first prototype, the first pancake, is the best one. You might make 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 iterations of that product, but normally the first one's the best one. You just need to tweak it. And that's what I tell them. Your first product, tweak that. Don't start from scratch, just tweak that one.
Right, yep. Well, as they say, the first gut feeling is your first feeling, and go with it.
Yes.
Fantastic. Tell us, what part of Grenada did you come from?
My mum came from St. George's and St. John's. She's a Frederick. She passed away many years ago now, but I have visited the island quite a few times. I haven't been back for a while, only because I have my own children now who are athletes who I travel around the country and around the world following them. My daughter's actually trialling now for the UK athletics team for throwing the hammer. So I'm in Loughborough right now, sitting, just waiting for her to come back to see whether she's got through. And my son's a footballer, so I'm also a football scout as well. So I've got quite a few hats.
Yeah, well, that's terrific. Fantastic. Congratulations. Hopefully your kids could consider, participating in some world event for Grenada in the field of sports.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. They would, definitely.
Yeah, well, this is something that you should let our High Commissioner in London know, that these are aspiring athletes that can do Grenada proud on the international stage.
Of course.
Yeah, fantastic.
They would love to. Absolutely love to.
Wonderful indeed. So what date are you actually planning to get to Grenada to participate in the Diaspora Homecoming?
It will probably be the last week, because as I said, there are qualifying competitions that have come up for my daughter, so it'll probably be within the last week.
Okay. So
of the homecoming, yes.
Right. Okay. And sorry.
I probably aim to bring her with me as well, so she needs to know where she needs to really be to do her competition. She needs to be a Grenadian competitor.
Yep.
I think.
Yep. Absolutely. That'd be terrific indeed. She can certainly link up with Minister responsible for sports and culture, and certainly link up with local organizations, etc. Sporting organizations, that is. That would be great to keep her busy while you're busy doing other things.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do is to take another very short break, and we come right back to you. So stay with us.
Okay.
Grenada is moving forward, and young people like you are at the heart of it. The National Democratic Youth Movement is all about connecting, learning, and making real impact. This is your chance to be a part of something bigger, to grow, to lead, and shape the future while making a difference. If you are ready to step up, have your voice heard, and help build a better Grenada, then the National Democratic Youth Movement is the organization for you. Join us because you are the future.
On Saturday, May 16th, Brooklyn will come alive with live acoustic performances from some of Grenada's top local acts, setting the stage for an evening that celebrates culture, cuisine, and community. Set in an atmosphere of refined elegance, guests will enjoy a curated Caribbean culinary experience. The evening will also feature a special keynote address by the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada. This premier fundraising affair promises an unforgettable experience where flavor, music, and purpose come together for a truly meaningful evening. Tickets are available now on GoToFate and Eventbrite. Secure yours early and be part of an extraordinary night. Spice Indulgence, an evening of heritage, connection, and impact.
I'm here at the project site for Project Polaris. This is the old Calavini estate, purchased by the government of Grenada for our new hospital and medical city construction. There's a lot of activity happening as we get ready for the groundbreaking ceremony happening on the 27th of March. That's a Friday, and it'll begin promptly at 4 p.m. We're inviting everyone to come out and participate in this historic event for Grenada. Be here at 3:30 to get a good position. We'll start promptly at 4.
Welcome back to the NDC Heartbeat podcast. And on the set with me virtually is Ms. Jennifer Lake. She is an award-winning startup inventor and innovation mentor. She is Grenadian. She lives in the UK, and she'll be visiting for Diaspora Homecoming between June 21 and July 5th. So, Ms. Lake, what kind of feedback are you getting in the UK with friends of yours who are Grenadians or friends of Grenada with respect to the visit coming to Grenada during Diaspora Homecoming period? What kind of feedback are you getting in the UK?
I know quite a few of my people are actually coming back. It's their time to visit, but it's now more of a push to come back to homecoming to help with the trade and to basically help the whole diaspora to come together again and to make basically the people know about the fact that there are people like myself, inventors, teachers, come back, give back to the country, give back to the youth, especially the youth, because the youth need our guidance so much these days, and to help basically the country just flourish, because it will flourish under great guidance.
Yep. Absolutely so indeed. And in addition to the Youth Forum, we also have a Business Forum, which will give an opportunity to returning Grenadians to look at investment opportunities, investment possibilities, be it a small plot of land, be it a home, an apartment, or some type of investment, so that they feel really and truly connected to the homeland. And it's an opportunity for them to rediscover new friends, maybe family members that they didn't even know existed. That happens at times too. Yeah, so it's a great time, and it's a great initiative by the government of Grenada to reconnect its people. And whether if it is biblical or what, but people of different origins are returning to their homeland just to basically reconnect and re-experience what is happening in their homeland. And of course, Grenada is no exception. And we have had over the years Grenadians who will assist in so many different areas in Grenada, at the hospital, schools, and different areas. But we're now expanding it, that Grenadians coming back with their skills and their talent can contribute in so many different ways, not just only in education or in health. They can contribute in agriculture. They can contribute in making donations. They can contribute by way of helping to clean up a beach or a school or something, whatever they wish to contribute. The skills and talents of Grenadians out in the diaspora is really tremendous indeed, and we congratulate those Grenadians for having, accomplished great things out there with hard work, dedication, sacrifices, of course. And this is a good time to share those skills and talents and to give back to Grenada in a meaningful way. So
Yeah, it's definitely time for Grenadians to come
spread
home.
the word out there.
Oh, definitely. It's time for Grenadians to come home and give back not only to their parents who allowed us to flourish in the UK, bring those talents that we've learnt there, bring them home and bring them home to Grenada.
Yep, absolutely. And let me just mention that for those listening on, we have a website. It is www.homecoming.gd. Very simple, homecoming.gd. You can register your interests. You can even register an event that you would wish to participate in. If you wish to create an event, just indicate your interest and we will tweak accordingly in order to make that happen for you. Or if you wish to be a presenter at our youth forum or the business forum, or you wish to adopt a school in Grenada, you can come to a particular desk during the period of the business forum and register your name, and we put you in contact with the principal of the school, and you can work with the school, assisting them in getting items that, is difficult for them to obtain in Grenada, and helping the school to lift the standard. It's all about building the capacity of youth in Grenada. That is one of the objectives which Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell was really excited about, that this project helps to identify the youth and youth possibilities and youth growth so that Grenada can grow in the future to become a great state. Singapore did not start off being a great state. They started off probably similar like Grenada, but they have grown leaps and bounds and doing extremely well on the world stage. So, Jennifer, I want to thank you for being part of the Heartbeat today and to invite you to share your closing comments at this point in time.
Yes, as Grenadians, we need to come home and create the foundations for the youth and for our businesses so that we can thrive and be alongside our economic leaders and be able to just be able to thrive with the world and be able to give back and be able to share and basically be good people.
Mm-hmm. Great, fantastic. Well, thank you so very much indeed. I highly appreciate you coming on the set today. Jennifer Lake, inventor and innovator mentor. You have done extremely well for yourself, and we are extremely grateful for you deciding to come to Grenada during the period of Diaspora Homecoming to be a presenter and a mentor, especially to a youth in Grenada. I'm sure they'll be excited to, be part of that event. We are fine-tuning the calendar of events, and once that is done, we'll have it posted and, of course, promoted, etc. So I hope, your ear don't get ringing because your name will be mentioned over and over. Inventor, creator, Grenadian living in the UK will be presenting to youth in Grenada as to how to become inventors.
Yes.
That I believe will be very exciting indeed. Because we do have a lot of creative young people in Grenada in various spheres of life. So they'll be really excited to learn as to how do they go about it, what are some of the pitfalls that they should be looking for, how should they go about protecting their invention. That indeed will be a terrific experience for the young people. So I want to thank you again for being part of the Heartbeat today, and continue to stay in touch, and we look forward to your arrival in, as you indicated, the last week of the 2-week program from 21st June to 5th July. So, your final 30-second comments as you leave us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for having me on. And I look forward to helping the youth and businesses to thrive and to take that next step into industry and to be the best that we can be for Grenada and put Grenada on the map.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so very much indeed. Most appreciated. So we'll be in touch. Thank you. So this was Ms. Jennifer Lake. She is an inventor, creator. She lectures at schools and universities in in the UK, and she'll be visiting for Diaspora Homecoming. So back with you in a moment.
On Saturday, May 16th, Brooklyn will come alive with live acoustic performances from some of Grenada's top local acts, setting the stage for an evening that celebrates culture, cuisine, and community. Set in an atmosphere of refined elegance, guests will enjoy a curated Caribbean culinary experience. The evening will also feature a special keynote address by the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada. This premier fundraising affair promises an unforgettable experience where flavor, music, and purpose come together for a truly meaningful evening. Tickets are available now on GoToFate and Eventbrite. Secure yours early and be part of an extraordinary night. Spice Indulgence, an evening of heritage, connection, and impact.
It's a celebration of all things Grenadian. Showcase Grenada Exhibition 2026, Sunday, April 12th, 1 p.m. to midnight.
Any chance you see I get, I go in Grenada.
Presented by the Grenada Independence Planning Committee in collaboration with the Consulate General of Grenada in Toronto. Hosted by Fatman George. This exciting event features live performances from renowned artists like Talpri.
Welcome to the Job Nation. It's not your imagination.
And Alma Boy, alongside other various artists: Kenny C, Michael Brown, PJP, 473 Odie, Leon Spice, Hudson George, Corey Ross, and Tessa Ann. It's happening at the JCA, 995 Arrow Road, North York, Ontario. Indulge your taste buds with authentic Grenadian food, including the famous oil down, fresh produce, spices, and more. Enjoy thrilling entertainment from steel pan music, drumming, dancing by the Spice Isle dancers, and traditional mass performances like shotney, plus poetry and comedy. Families are welcome. There are plenty of activities for children to enjoy. Explore booths from local vendors and learn about tourism, investment, and trade opportunities in Grenada. It's only $10 for adults. Children 12 and up, $5. Children under 12, absolutely free. This event is made possible by our sponsors: the Grenada Tourism Authority, Sheridan Cyrus Dentistry, the Caribbean Camera, Six Senses Lasajet, Kalinago Beach Resort, Lux Modern Residential Living, HBBS Auto and Equipment Leasing, Gem FM, Mr. Lawnmower, and Ride Go. Don't miss out on this vibrant cultural showcase. Mark your calendars and join us for a day filled with joy, culture, and community at Showcase Grenada Exhibition 2026. Everything Grenadian.
I'm here at the project site for Project Polaris. This is the old Calavini estate, purchased by the government of Grenada for our new hospital and medical city construction. There's a lot of activity happening as we get ready for the groundbreaking ceremony happening on the 27th of March. That's a Friday, and it'll begin promptly at 4 p.m. We're inviting everyone to come out and participate in this historic event for Grenada. Be here at 3:30 to get a good position. We'll start promptly at 4.
For another beautiful Sunday afternoon in Grenada, and just want to say to those who are listening on radio, which is Spice Isle, WFM, we have 100.5 FM out of Labby in Grenville. We also have Rampoon Radio out of Delaware in the United States, and other stations who are picking up the Heartbeat. So welcome to another NDC Heartbeat episode for another beautiful Sunday afternoon in Grenada. Now, in studio now with me is Ms. Andrea Sanbernard. She is representing Project Polaris as the project sponsor. And she'll be telling us all about what is going to be what has been happening with Project Polaris, and of course the big launch come Friday the 27th, 4 p.m. Don't miss it. So, welcome to the Heartbeat. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and good afternoon to all of your viewers.
Great, fantastic. Project Polaris, for the average man on the ground who maybe doesn't quite understand what Project Polaris means to Grenada, give us a little bit of a background history of Project Polaris, what brought it about.
Right, I'm happy to do so. So Project Polaris is a name that we've given to this project, which really signifies, again, the North Star. Project Polaris is about transforming healthcare in Grenada for Grenadians. And for quite some time now, I mean, even since 2012, there were feasibility studies done by the World Bank arm that indicated that one of the pillars to transforming healthcare in Grenada would need to be the relocation of the General Hospital to an area that was more fit for wellness, therapeutic, healing, more accessible to Grenada, and in an infrastructure more fit for purpose for the digital world that we currently live in. And of course, we know the location of the existing hospital is quite limited. And so it's not a situation where we could really just re-provision that hospital to try and look forward to what would be the healthcare needs for the next 50 years for Grenadians. And so understanding that we have a lot of work to do for the transformation of healthcare in Grenada, and we have a lot of work streams that have begun. And one of the key work streams for transforming healthcare is the construction of a new 250-bed climate resilient, smart research teaching hospital. There's a lot of words there, but they're all purposeful and deliberately a part of the overall vision and strategy for building a new hospital that delivers excellent healthcare for the people of Grenada and beyond. And this is Project Polaris.
Mm-hmm. How would you respond to those comments by a few who would say, oh, this project is too ambitious for Grenada? What would be your response to that?
Too ambitious for Grenada, that seems like an oxymoron almost to me. Mm-hmm. I feel it is a very ambitious project. It's worthy of our effort and the opportunity for the transformation and the benefits that it will bring to our people, ourselves, our children, their children, our elders, is something that we cannot afford to not take the opportunity that in fact is in front of us now to, as I said, put Grenada on a completely different path as regards how we treat with healthcare service provision here.
Right. Now, healthcare, of course, is not a cheap exercise by any means in any country whatsoever. How do we intend to deal with that aspect of it in collaboration with NHI, National Health Insurance?
Mm-hmm. So you're absolutely right to identify healthcare is expensive. It is anywhere in the world, everywhere in the world. Providing healthcare for the people of Grenada will remain one of the challenges that the government needs to rise to and find solutions for. So similar to what happens today, the government does its best with the resources that it has to provide healthcare service to the people of Grenada. The unfortunate reality is the government does not have and will never have all the money necessary to provide every healthcare service that could be needed by a Grenadian. We're a small society, so we have to accept that the government has to find then ways, systems to strengthen the system such that it can do its best to offer, and this is something that the government is committed to, universal health care for all the citizens of Grenada. And this is where the National Health Insurance Scheme concept comes from. So currently we have a system where the government heavily subsidizes healthcare, but it's not sustainable because we don't have systems in place that allow for us to pool the risk of health care financial risk and also create a system where we can enforce payment by those who can afford to pay and also incorporate the system of other health insurance providers. So we are deficient in our existing hospital in that persons who visit who may have insurance and therefore a means by which a payment is supposed to be provided, and not even through the patient, but through their insurance provider. But we don't have the means to make sure that we're collecting that revenue. And so a lot of the focus for Project Polaris and the various work streams around Project Polaris, National Health Insurance, as well as statutization, is about building a system that better allows us to finance the reality of healthcare for the people of Grenada.
Fantastic. Now, how can Grenadians living in the diaspora who have, let's say, health experience, they are health experts, how can they contribute to this?
So it's definitely a large scale project. One of the things that we have been very deliberate about in this administration is seeking ways to harness the expertise, the experience, and the wealth of knowledge that we have in our diaspora. And not to mention also the commitment and love that our people in the diaspora continue to have for Grenada. It's a challenge to find the way to really harness all of that energy and contribute to an ongoing. But I think it's something that we have to continue to work to really take advantage of, because again, as a small country with so many excellent citizens in the diaspora, it's a resource we can't afford not to pay attention to. And so I would cite the Grenada Diaspora Advisory Council, which is a brainchild of this administration. It was launched a couple years ago through the leadership of Ms. Abigail Jeremiah and Ms. Shornda Kador in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And the idea behind the Diaspora Advisory Council was really to identify where we have expertise and wealth of knowledge with persons willing to make contributions. And I will very proudly proclaim that Project Polaris has realized that, has been able to use that mechanism to realize on the vision behind how do we get expertise, expert advice from our own experts in the diaspora. And so that is one way, certainly. And so the Diaspora Advisory Council is a living, breathing advisory council made up of persons in the diaspora in the particular areas of expertise. They are then organized within those groups and available really for us to consult with. And so there's a core healthcare pillar in the Diaspora Advisory Council with a few exceptional doctors with significant experience. Dr. Lisa Radix is amongst them. Dr. Tristan is amongst them. We've had a few really strong contributors who have in fact been consulting with us through the process, even through that medium. So even along the way as we're making plans and reviewing plans and consulting plans, we have diaspora engagement happening. We want to continue to look for these opportunities where persons in the diaspora can come home and serve either for periods of time or, post if they've decided to retire but still want to be able to do some level of work. So we continue to work with the Diaspora Advisory Council to find, again, mechanisms and structures to help bridge the energy between home and diaspora.
Great, fantastic. And as we get closer now to Diaspora Homecoming, 21st June through to the 5th of July, how can we collaborate so that health professionals who are visiting can have a tour of the Project Polaris?
Thanks for raising that. Part of the activities surrounding the upcoming groundbreaking are really the opportunity for persons to do a site tour. We're opening that to the public. And in particular, we want to also ensure that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora coming home for the homecoming, we would also want to extend that opportunity to you as well. So we will provide you, Ambassador, through you, further information about how to schedule and book a tour. Project Polaris has all forms of social media up and going, and so we've got information pages at our recent town hall. We would have also circulated QR codes which will be available for persons to interact with us, give us the information if you have an interest. But we will definitely be creating a tour booking opportunity, and so we will provide that information. We look forward to all of our friends in the diaspora to come and also participate, learn about Project Polaris. We believe there's a place in this for everyone, and certainly for the medical professionals in the diaspora.
Great, fantastic, fantastic. Now, tell us, this project is indeed a huge project. And how would Grenada benefit financially and otherwise from our regional friends in the Caribbean?
So another great question. The vision for Project Polaris, as you're alluding to, it does go beyond just Grenada. It's a huge project. The solution that we're solving for is we need better healthcare for Grenadians. The standard that we're trying to achieve is joint credit international standard of healthcare service. That's a journey that we're on. We've already begun that journey with through the consultation of Mount Sinai's guidance and through the exceptional leadership of our hospital management team and the good work of the staff there. For over a year now, we have been working on 13 work streams to improve the quality of service delivery. So we're improving healthcare, but we're also making a significant investment in infrastructure. And the infrastructure is not just bricks and mortar, it's also digital. So one of the key elements of the new hospital will be how we are now able to leverage what the world has to offer in the way of digital advancement. So that goes all the way from record keeping and identification, which we all know we could improve across the board in Grenada. But it also goes into leveraging available technology so that we can solve for other challenges that we have, such as one of the main challenges that we will continue to have to deliver good healthcare is human resources. We don't have enough medical professionals now. We have to work through government to address that problem, and that also is a multi-pronged approach. So while we need to educate more of our youth to be able to work within the medical profession, the allied health profession, the digital space in the new hospital, we also will have to look to see how we can recruit medical professionals to help fill the gaps where we need them. But then we also have the opportunity to take advantage of things like telemedicine. And this is one of the reasons why it's very important that we do look to seek the best technology opportunities in the new hospital, because they help to alleviate the ongoing challenges such as human resources. So if through telemedicine we can access specialist services that are off island, then we've been able to incorporate additional services without having additional human capacity at the hospital. So there are a lot of elements going on into what's happening at the new hospital that will really be leading the way for Grenada. Obviously, the actual construction of the hospital is going to be years of significant construction opportunity, construction activity, which would of course lead to significant opportunity in the construction sector and a lot of activity and stimulation in the construction sector. We've spoken about the need to educate our students to realize the vision and the future that we're upon. And so already through the Ministry of Education collaboration, we've begun to really look at where our scholarship opportunities are going and where our focus is in education to make sure that we're also aligning and ensuring that we prepare our students for the opportunities that we are building ahead. And then of course, persons would have heard that we have in our vision not just the hospital, but the broader medical city. And really the idea there is the hospital and the investment into building a world-class institution and working on delivering an excellent level of health care becomes an opportunity to leverage really the rest of the medical city being a good investment opportunity for the private sector to now come and partner with the government and drive economic opportunities even further for Grenada.
Fantastic. Now, how can Grenadians and Friends of Grenada contribute to this investment?
So we are certainly going to be looking for private partnerships to help drive the next phases of the medical city and the medical city build. The government's obligation and commitment is to the building of the hospital. And as I've discussed, by doing so with excellence, we will create the opportunities, the surrounding opportunities. So within the medical city site plan, we have provisioned for medical office buildings. Now that's, again, opportunities for private medical service providers to come and take space in a prime location, in a beautiful building outlay, leasing property. So again, it's a revenue opportunity for the government, but they're leveraging an excellent hospital that is there in the case of any need for support from the hospital. And so by having this excellent health hospital, secondary institution, it really encourages other medical service providers to come and see this as a real opportunity for where they can now set up and grow their business. So it builds upon the opportunity of, if we start with an excellent hospital, we know we have other investment opportunities that we can start really selling to private investors. And so in that space, we would look for, of course, Grenadians to, as we move forward with the next phases, to look at what opportunities are created through this medical city and partner with us to help continue driving it forward.
Fantastic. So the business community locally in Grenada are first given that opportunity. And if they don't take the uptick on it, then you look at the diaspora Grenadians living
Everybody's
abroad.
given the opportunity. And so really this is Grenada's major investment. What we need are the best private partnerships, but we are certainly looking for local partners, our Grenadians in the diaspora, as well as international partners who would be able to add any areas of expertise and guidance, or expertise and experience that we don't otherwise have. So the opportunity is open, really, and we are also welcoming ideas about what the best mix of those services and private businesses could be.
All right. Would you say, therefore, in the next, 5-10 years, Grenada can be considered the Mecca in the Caribbean for excellent, top-quality healthcare?
That's certainly the goal and the journey that I believe that we are on. And it will continue to grow organically even beyond that. As I said, I think our initial commitment is to building a general hospital for the people of Grenada that has a high standard of service delivery. Through the journey that we've already begun, we will seek and achieve Joint Commission International accreditation. Again, this is a process that takes years to achieve, that certifies that we have world best class standards, policies, procedures, and compliance with all of those standards, policies, and procedures. And so, again, we've begun the journey. We are looking forward to the challenges, the camaraderie, the work that we have ahead to achieve that. And really, it becomes then the cornerstone of so many broader and bigger opportunities that Grenada will have. But the medical city will grow and continue to evolve over time, while the hospital itself will be operational in 2029. The private investors will really get a lot more security as they see that we've really gotten the hospital up and going, and because the rest of the medical city is really leveraged off of that excellence. So the phases are also a necessary part of that strategy.
As you speak about this, it reminds me of the many years ago, which Prime Minister Sir Eric Matthew Gary, who had the vision for SGU, and started off small.
Absolutely.
And look at what it has become today, almost 25% of Grenada's GDP. How is SGU collaborating and partnering with this major undertaking?
Right. So SGU is indeed an interesting success story for Grenada and for private business, because it is a private institution that did a handshake deal with Sir Matthew Eric Gary since the beginning of Grenada. And as you said, we've seen it grow substantially over the years, both in infrastructure and reputation and repute. And it now boasts, as one of the top offshore medical institutions in the world. And that is very special. That's something that we need to also leverage, because SGU's done a really great job of building an excellent reputation for themselves and for their alumni. So students who are educated here in Grenada, they boast it every opportunity they get for all the experiences that I've had. But they're only here for 2 years for the academic component of their overall medical education. Since that initial handshake between SGU and the government of Grenada, there has always been a vision, and in fact it was written into the early agreement with SGU that SGU would work with the government to create a teaching hospital. So this is that moment where we now finally get to hold SGU to their commitment, and SGU can now hold us to our commitment to work together to create a teaching hospital. What this means is, again, we have the opportunity to keep SGU students here in Grenada for longer than just their 2 years of academic before they are forced to go into institutions that allow them to do their residency component. Our current general hospital is not fit for a residency component that would suit the completion of their medical education, and so they do have to go off island. But we do have first and second year SGU students rotating or doing some clinical rotations at our existing hospitals. So the idea is that we would expand this collaboration and relationship with SGU such that their students coming out of academic component of training could now enter residency in Grenada's general hospital. That adds some human capital to work that's being done. It adds a significant revenue stream, because again, clinical rotations is a part of the tuition that medical students are paying for their full education. And then they have the opportunity to continue with the teaching, the residency component of their medical education in Grenada at a comparable experience to if they were to have traveled to the US. So by building the new hospital, raising the standards and procedures and compliance with same, we can now create a comparable experience to keep these students here, but still allow them an excellent opportunity to boast a high quality medical education right here and throughout in Grenada.
Great, fantastic. I think probably in the many years to come, young students of today will say, you know what, young Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell had a vision similar to Sir Eric Matthew Geary, and look at this massive hospital and investment and institution that has been created. How do you see this competing with the rest of the region?
So I guess there's two prongs to that as you say it to me, because we're coming off the tail of the SGU discussion. For SGU and Grenada, I think it's a win-win-win, certainly win-win-win opportunity. As I said, SGU is an exceptional university already, and I think this adds another exceptional opportunity for its business proposition and its pitch to potential students. The hospital itself, as I said, the goal and the ultimate path we're on is to become a JCI accredited hospital that is then delivering healthcare services at a much higher level than what we had in the past. And in fact, within the OECS region, there are no JCI accredited healthcare institutions. And so it means this hospital offers an opportunity not just for Grenadians to receive a higher standard of healthcare service, but also for our friends and in the neighboring countries in the OECS. And so this, again, offers us an opportunity to look at healthcare service as a medical product. Because we will be doing it with excellence to service the people of Grenada, we can also then offer medical services with excellence to our friends and neighbors in the neighboring countries. And it means then they would be traveling to Grenada, and all of the usual propositions of why tourism is a good thing for Grenada comes into play. Part of the medical city vision includes that we would have a resort within the medical city, because we envision that we would be driving traffic to the hospital from abroad, because we will be delivering a higher standard of healthcare service here in Grenada.
Wow, this sounds rather magical indeed. Very interesting, absolutely. Now, explain to our listeners what they should expect come Friday the 27th and where they should be coming to.
Okay, so Friday the 27th of March, we will be doing our groundbreaking ceremony. The location for the groundbreaking ceremony is right at the Project Polaris site, which is in the old Calavini state, right up the eastern Main, on the border between St. George and St. David. In fact, the property itself is on the border between St. George and St. David's. You can't miss it. At this point, there's significant activity happening at the site. And so if you're traveling on the eastern Main, you certainly will see activity now. We'll be building it up with even more decorations, and certainly you'll be able to find your way into the site. The groundbreaking ceremony will have a feature speech and words from our Honourable Minister of Health, from the Honourable Prime Minister, as well as some other invited guests. We will also, ahead of the actual groundbreaking ceremony, have a few activities, as well as the activities that would follow. Among those activities is that we have invited our architect and design team, Perkins and Will. They're an architect and design team based in Florida. And they've been working very closely with us and leading, in fact, the medical city design as well as the hospital concept design, which is just the early component of the hospital. We've invited them to do a panel discussion, and we would invite persons in the community who want to learn more about the plans that have gone into the master site plan, the environmental hazard mitigations that have gone into the master site plan. A significant amount of work has gone into understanding the environmental and social impact elements of what our plans are for the hospital. And because I can't always speak justice to all of those plans, and because we've got so many keen, interested citizens who want to know more, we are inviting you to engage with our master site planner and hospital concept design to ask your questions about these more technical aspects of how we've envisioned the master site plan and the mitigating strategies that we've used to deal with water and wind and the other elements that we know we would have to provision for. So that's an engagement we're looking forward to. And then of course we've got the site tour that we will be extending to everyone to continue even after the groundbreaking ceremony.
Great, fantastic. And finally, explain to our listeners what is a project sponsor.
So a project sponsor is, it's really just a name for the lead of the project management team. The project delivery team is what we call it. The government of Grenada cabinet had made the decision that because Project Polaris is a large project and it will take significant work in an intense manner, that we didn't want to overburden the ministries that are all responsible for significant amounts of work on a regular basis to also be leading such a project. And in fact, the project crosses over several ministries and needs collaboration consistently across several ministries. So what the cabinet did was to create a subcommittee of ministers who are in fact now responsible for the delivery of Project Polaris. And they have appointed a delivery unit, a delivery team, who are now charged with doing the work, the heavy lifting, and reporting back to cabinet. And so that Project Polaris team involves myself as the project sponsor, Deputy Permanent Secretary Ms. Siobhan Britton-Tellisford, who is Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance. She is the Permanent Secretary on assignment to Project Polaris. We also have our lead consultant company, which is Darasami, led by Mr. Damien Dolland. And we would also have to build additional components. It's a huge project. It needs significant oversight and management. And we are doing all of that also in collaboration with the Ministry of Infrastructure, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Health have been three major ministries that we have already begun involving in collaboration. But we would also then have to be working closely with Grenlec, Nawasa, Solid Waste. So, of course, if this is a whole of government project, and the cabinet has appointed the Project Polaris delivery unit to really manage the project in collaboration with all of the ministries and government departments and state-owned entities that it takes as stakeholders to truly deliver a product fit for Grenada, and that we will continue to be proud of for the next 50 years, I'm sure.
Great. Well, thank you so very much. This has been a lot to consume, and I'm sure the listening audience would want to replay a lot of that information so they can really get it into their brain as to exactly the enormity of this undertaking by the government of Grenada and the hard work that you are doing with your team. So thank you very much again for being part of the Heartbeat today. I highly appreciate it. And I just want to thank all of you who tuned in today to the Heartbeat. Thank you, and join us again next Sunday when we'd have other equally stimulating and interesting conversations to share with you. Thank you, and have a great Sunday afternoon. Goodbye now. Okay.